Hi. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
I'm well. I can't complain too much. Want to welcome everybody in chat and welcome to Kelly to the channel. I noticed that we have Swampy63 is here
Hi, Swampy.
and Mary Thornberry is here.
Hello,
Um,
Mary.
I don't think that the notification has dropped yet, so be a
It's
few seconds, but
it's all good. We have Mary and Swampy all to ourselves.
yes, we
Victims.
do. There's a notification. So, um, what do you have coming up, Kelly? What's going on
Oh
with
my
you?
gosh. I mean, honestly, there's so much. I barely. Sometimes it is really difficult for me to just like randomly like pick out. It's like I have to. I'm super organized. Everyone who knows me, they like everybody jokes about how I'm like booking appointments in October kind of thing. But that's how I stay organized with so much to do. So, what's coming up for me is my Sunday Connection show, 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Um, it's all about how we connect with spirit in the different ways that we connect with spirit. That's what the show was created for. And so this Sunday, I have Thayer coming and Tarot Stash for some mediumship and tarot reading.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. And then Circle of Friends, which is my collaborative channel with Allie from Heart and Soul Connected. That's on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're doing Lionsgate readings. And then my birthday is next week. And so I have two celebrations sort of happening. So on Wednesday, I have some special guests. And I don't like to say that anyone's more special than anyone else, but these people in particular that I've asked to join me are the reason why I'm here, right? Why I
Right.
have. And then on Friday, I've been doing this thing every couple of weeks, going out my backyard at my fire pit, and it's just like a really casual, kind of fun kind of. It's Thanks Spirit. It's Friday in the backyard is what it is, and so I've invited a bunch of people, and I'm sure I've left tons of people out, but there's only so much room in an email, and so we're just gonna let our hair down and have some fun.
So those are always fun.
Yes. And thank you
Well,
for asking, because that's a lot. Hope everyone wrote it all down. No, I'm just kidding.
yes. Remember to like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff for the algorithm. And I have put Kelly's her main channel, her dzncats4me channel, in the chat.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
And um,
Hey, everybody.
oh, hi, Viviani.
Hi,
How are
Christine.
you?
Hi, Vivian.
So, Kelly,
Yes, ma'am.
what brought you to the place where you were ready to explore a spiritual path?
That's a really, really good question. And thank you for stumping me first question out of the gate. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I don't know. Let's put it this way: there was no
That's a fair
thought.
answer.
Well,
That's
it's the truth. There was
it's
no
a fair
thought in my
answer.
mind. It's not like I was, I need to figure something out. I really started to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's back up just a hot minute, shall we? We're going to get real, folks. You ready? So we were going through a court case to after my mom's passing regarding her estate, but specifically about getting her remains. And I started watching the tarot scopes to see what was going on. And that's really how it happened, right? Then I found Andrea from Lilac Lantern, and she's a Canadian, and so I started following her. I mean, that made sense. And I reached out and she did a private reading for me, all about that. Through her, I started following her around, and then I found Debbie Freebird's Spirit, and that was the first chat that I went into where I found that I could ask a question and they could do a reading for me, and she channeled my mom. And so that was amazing. the channeling of my mom, but at the same time, the chat was
Right.
like lifting me up and embracing me and supporting me. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the most amazing thing ever. And it was really those, like that combination of those two things that sort of grabbed a hold of me, if I can
Right.
say it like that. And it just started to develop. And as I ventured around and went from room to room to room, I just was like, wow. And it's interesting because the information that I was receiving was, I was open to it, and I was receiving it in a way that I had never received it before. And I was also processing it in a way that it was never processed before. So I actually was taking it in, I was understanding it, and it felt good. And so I continued, and here I am.
And so, so it just kind of happened organically.
Yes.
And I think that that's true for a lot of people in the community, is that it wasn't any particular, maybe one thing,
Yeah.
but they had been steered in this direction.
Yeah.
No doubt by their guides.
No doubt. No doubt.
And so you felt welcomed into the community? Did you feel like?
Completely. I mean, I say often on my own channel that, you know, I wear a chatter like a badge of honor. Chat is where I'm happiest. Chat is where I feel safest. Chat is where I feel the most comfortable. The amount of love and support and the power that the chatters have is phenomenal, right? Together, they are a true force. And when I am a part of that force, it just makes me feel, honestly, like I can do anything. Do you know what I mean? And then sitting on this side of the chat, when this always makes me really emotional. Sorry, like I've been here 5 seconds and I'm already going to start to cry. What a loser! But when I sit here and you know, on Achieving Wellness, which is the show that I do every second Wednesday, we take a deep dive into some really, really hard topics. And when we do that deep dive, and I have seen people open up and start to share things that I know that they're not sharing other places, or I know that it's difficult for them to share. I remembered what that feels like. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Teresa. I remember what that feels like. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. And I just feel so good, so happy, so appreciative, so blessed, so grateful that they trust me. And that they can feel the love and the support, and they want to open up, right? Because that's how the healing starts. And that's just a beautiful thing for me to witness, because I know what that feels like, if that makes sense.
It does. Oh, you're welcome, Teresa. Was it hard to go from the anonymity of the chat? Now, the reason I'm asking this is because there are some who are watching, or who will watch, who are going to come out of chat and come on.
Yes.
Whether they like it or not, they're being pushed in that direction. And I felt that, and I think you felt that. So how is it coming out and putting yourself out for people to see?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm a Leo, so being seen is not really my issue. I am not an introvert by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do have anxiety, panic disorder, and depression, and I have allowed that, and I'm sure we'll get into that in a bit, but I have allowed that to, you know, sort of dictate my life for the last 10 years. I don't leave my home. And so because I don't leave my house, and that's not due to the pandemic, that's because of my anxiety. You know, I have let myself go. And so the vanity point of me was a little concerned about how people would treat me. You know, I don't smile because my teeth are bad. I've openly said it, but the fact that yeah, okay, if I can say this with it, and I hope this doesn't come out wrong, I'm quite proud of myself because I pushed myself and past any barrier that I had. I felt and feel like my channel is like my virtual journal entries every day. Every time I come live, it's another journal entry. It's another step forward. It's another motion towards my healing. And all I want to do is present myself in the most authentic way that I can. So, you know, bad teeth and all, here I am. I always try to be honest, and I try to speak from the heart, and it's my experiences to, you know, I want to share this with people because I want to take the stigma out of it. You know, whatever your pain is, whatever your issue is, whatever your hurt is caused from or by, I want you to know that it's okay. You know, and so
It is okay. And that's another thing is that we're each of us individuals. So we all have something to bring to the table.
Absolutely.
And I have never felt like it's a competition.
Yeah.
I think
well, that's a really, really interesting point. And I say this all the time, and people misunderstand this quite often when I say it. Because it's a direct conflict to what spirituality means to most of us, right? YouTube is based on a competition, and the sooner that everyone like wraps their brains around that, the better off we're all going to be, right?
Yes. Right.
Everything that YouTube does is based on a competition, right?
It is
for content creators.
Yes.
Right. Every time you open up a video, it's like, you know, you're hearing the person on the screen, no matter what community you're in, you know, like, share, subscribe, because it's so important, you know, put the comments below because that's what's told to us as content creators. That's
right.
what gets us up there. That's what gets us seen. And from the spiritual side, what we're trying to do is put the word out. So right. It's not about the numbers. But we can't pretend that the numbers don't matter.
Don't exist. Exactly. And we want the right person to see our content. So when we're making, for instance, I didn't make a video yet this week for a story. And it was because I couldn't get a handle on how does it relate to what's going on right now.
Yes. Gotcha.
And so all week I've been thinking about it, and I think I have a handle on it. And I thought, well, maybe I haven't put this video out because the right person that needs to see it isn't there yet.
Right. Right.
So you have to follow your instinct on it and be aware of the numbers.
100%. And I think that makes a really good point. And that's where I was going. So the part about the YouTube part, like, it's based on a competition, right? So there's those things that we have to say, right? Like, and share, and subscribe, and all that stuff. And I mean, it like the analytics, if you allow yourself to go there, can make you like cray, to be perfectly honest. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't know anything about YouTube. I didn't really understand any of what I was doing when I got here.
Right.
And I have learned the hard way. Like everyone who starts off a new channel, it did not come easily to me. But I feel each day I feel more comfortable in what I'm doing and what I'm putting out. And now I am sort of like, you know, I'm doing this. I'm committed to doing it. I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet and do it my way. And if the people are, you know, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, okay too. As long as I feel like I'm making a difference to myself and to whoever may come in, that's I can only like one day at a time You know what I mean?
That's all we can ask for.
Yeah.
Mary Thornberry makes the point, because I said we all have something to bring to the table. And I still believe that. I believe that we all have something to bring. We may just not know what it is.
Yes, that's a very
She
good
says,
point.
if you don't have something to bring, just being at the table is sometimes enough. I want the table to be big enough for all of us.
Yes, me too.
And whether you believe you have something to offer or not, you do. You may not know what it is yet.
Yeah.
But it's a valid point that we all deserve a seat at the table.
We do.
All of us, no matter what.
Yeah. And I say this, I mean, and to Mary's point, you know, I like just the fact of, you know, because I like to think that I'm that kind of person that, like, I don't overthink it.
Right.
I mean, I overthink it, and I'm accused of it all the time, but I don't overthink this. I don't overthink this showing up. If I wake up at 4 a.m. and feel like coming on, I come on.
Makes sense.
Just show up. You know, when my ex-husband died in January, I just showed up. I just came online and said, like, I need someone to talk to. Where are my people at? And, you know, within minutes, they were there. People there.
Absolutely.
And we were all communicating and helping and supporting me and each other. And it was a beautiful thing. And so that's to Mary's point, that's a beautiful thing when that happens.
Yes. Andrea has said that YouTube is not bad.
Sorry, I had to keep my phone on. I apologize. I'm waiting for a delivery.
Do what you need to do to take care of yourself.
No, I'm waiting for a delivery, so I had to keep my phone on. I do apologize.
Well, that too. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. That's part of it.
Yeah. Hi, Anna.
YouTube isn't bad. It's just a 3D lower vibration, and that's true. And light workers are operating toward ascension in the energy rift. And then she followed that up with, it's the vehicle that we have, and gratitude for the vehicle is in order. So we have to use, we're in a 3D world, and we have to use what's available to us.
Yeah. 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 Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, right, there's a huge misconception about, you know, YouTube and the money that you can make and, you know, all of that stuff. And, you know, I don't really want to like go all the way there, but I say this. Until you have a channel and you create content and you put out videos, because everybody's channel is different, right? My channel has been operating since November the 7th of 2021. I have 298 subscribers. I have over 400 videos on my channel. I have had the distinguished pleasure of working with so many people, you know, people that have been on YouTube for a long time with thousands and thousands of subscribers, and then new people that have like 20 subscribers. I've had the distinct pleasure of having people who have never gone live before share that experience with me on my screen, Anna being one of them. It can be very beautiful.
It's cool.
And I don't want to take away from that. It can be a wonderful experience. And really the experience is what you make it, right?
Yes.
Because the truth of the matter is, you know, unless you have thousands of subscribers, you're not making any money from YouTube.
Right. So if that's and see, that's not my deal. I have never in my entire life worried about money.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's just, it's a tool. And if I have it, fine. And if I don't have it, fine. I know how to live with it, and I know how to live without it. So that's never been my concern. There are people that make their living this way.
And there's no shade or blame.
No, if that is how you put food on the table, more power to you.
Absolutely.
And Anna has said it may be a 3D vibration, but someone needs to straddle the line to help lift others up. You have to live in reality in both dimensions, and that is absolutely true.
Yes, ma'am.
That is what I really honestly think, that we're here for that, to bridge the gap, to hold out our hand,
Yeah.
so that those trying to make their way out of the 3D stuff that's going on have someone to help them.
Yeah. I really like what Mary's just said there.
That may be what I'm trying to. Okay.
Yeah, this is beautiful, Mary.
This internet thing of linking like minds together as on these platforms, I do believe has power and has helped a lot of people. I absolutely believe that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
1000%.
If there are no seats appearing to be available, someone gets another chair and everyone moves over to make room for the new person. And that is.
I love that. And let's hope. I mean, you know, honestly, Andrea, from your lips to Spirit's ears, right? I mean, that's what we all hope for. That's what we all want to happen. I think that's beautiful.
That to me, that is the beauty of this community, is that it's very accepting,
yes,
very non-judgmental. Now, there are going to always be outliers and people who, but those are the people we're pulling in with us. Yeah. Those are the ones we're trying to show that there is another way.
100%.
And that we don't have to carry that stuff with us.
Right. I wanna say that to Andrea's point, and to, you know, Swampy saying, like, I can testify to that, Mary. It's helped me. You know, as I said, I'm about to celebrate my birthday. So I sat there for a hot minute and thought, like, why does a 57 almost year old woman want to celebrate her birthday with people on YouTube? Why do I want to, like, you know, have that out there in the internet? Well, because it's the first time in 10 years that I feel like I have a reason to celebrate.
Yes.
My birthday.
And I can totally understand that.
Celebrating my birthday if it wasn't for the support of this community, because I wouldn't be here without the support of this community. I was in a really dark, bad place, and I'm not now. And it's because of this community. A lot of hard work on my part, but the harder I worked, the more I healed. The more I healed, the more support I could bring into me, because I was more open, because I was more understanding, because I was more available to hear the information that was being given to me, if that makes sense, right? And I mean, honestly, I can hardly contain myself with excitement that, like, I'm going to be 57. I feel like I'm turning 25, which, I mean, hello, friends, if we could do that, that would be that. Now I should channel that, right? Start a YouTube channel about looking 25 when you're 57. But the point of the matter that I'm trying to make is that I am so excited that I have something to celebrate. And for the first time in 10 years, I actually have a future to look forward to. And it's because of what we're doing here. You know, it's because of people like yourself and people in the chat. And that's just, it's just beautiful. Like, it's honestly a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful experience. It's just amazing, truly.
Andrea thinks we should, she says, on an off day, I can become outlier for the day, and can't we all? We should get special crowns and sashes for outlier of the day. And that's true. Some days I get an attitude and I don't need to be talking to anybody.
Listen, it happens to everybody. I mean, that's, you know, it's how you shake it off and how you move forward. That's the important bit, right?
And moving forward, I think is a key. This week has been a week full of reminders that to keep moving forward. That forward motion is what is going to propel us to more toward the ascension.
Yes.
There are a handful of us to help heal, and the millions, and and millions of people that need healing. And that's absolutely true. That I think that is the biggest reason that people are who have the ability to do that, to be a healer in whatever form that takes,
Yeah.
are being called to make themselves visible and available.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big reason so many on the chatter side of our community, anyway, are being pushed toward coming out and finding what it is that each one of us is good at and putting it out there so that the healing can take place.
Yeah.
We have to heal ourselves first.
Well, I'm going to say this. I don't like to disagree with the channel host because that's rude, but I'm healing as I'm here, right?
Yes.
I don't think that I was healed when I started my channel by any stretch of the imagination, but I do believe that it was the right time. And together, I feel like I am in equal measures what not to do and what to do, if that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that all of us are, Kelly. I think all of us have good things that we do and that we're good at, and then we have those things that we need to let go of.
Yeah.
I think that we can be a mirror for each other.
Yeah.
And we can gently and with love, by example.
Yeah.
And we all have blinders. We have blinders on
Friend.
personal stuff that we just
Our
can't
blinders
see.
were so big. I mean, and listen, I think to that point, that is the point. Like right there, what Andrew just said. Admitting that you need help is not easy. Admitting that you're at fault, admitting that you made this worse than it needed to be, that's not easy. But you got to get to that point, and that is, I mean, if there is nothing else that I can do, that is the thing that I am most committed to do. I do not want anyone to ever beat themselves up, negative self-talk themselves down, self-sabotage themselves because they, don't choose to be happy. It doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
Now, when I say that, of course, I'm speaking from someone with a mental health disorder. So that is what I know. You're ready when you're ready. And it's the point until you're ready that is the darkest. That is the difficult period. But when you get ready, when you arrive at the ready door and you go through that door, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Hi, Janet P. So that is why I'm here, really, is to help people push that door open and realize that the door is right there. It's right there. You can, if you just look, you can see it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm
exactly. And that's what I meant by saying that we have to heal ourselves first. Andrea says healing is a process of becoming whole, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So I think we're all on that journey. We're all imperfect humans, and we are. It's a constant.
Yes.
In all of our lives that we are all still healing. But I think that we reach a point in our own healing where we can turn around and offer healing to someone else.
Yeah. I mean, we do, this is something, and this is interesting because there are a lot of times when I, will finish a live and think about something that someone might have shared in the chat or a question that someone asked, or I've just been in a chat and been listening to someone else. And there's quite often some things that I sort of sit back and I think, if I close my eyes, I remember when I was 5 and that happened in terms of it's like these life lessons, right? And it speaks to me in volumes that is really quite deep and quite painful because it's so many people have had such negative experiences when they were children. And then for whatever reason, all of a sudden here it is, and you're an adult, and now you got to go back, through that Rolodex to that time period,
Right.
and try to unpack that, and then figure out what to do with it, and then move forward, hopefully with more wisdom and insight than before. And if we think back to some of those life lessons that most of us were taught, and I say most of us because not all of us got that privilege, but if we think back to those life lessons, there was a major part of those life lessons that were missing, and that's how to deal with the stuff that we were given, right? How we process it, how like, children aren't taught how to deal with their anger. Children aren't taught how to deal with their emotions. It's usually someone saying like, don't do that and don't do this. That would be the end of your teachings. Do you know what I mean? Most children aren't
just suppress it.
Exactly. Most children aren't taking
put on your big girl panties.
Exactly. and so all of this stuff comes up, when you're older, and this is a time in our lives, especially for women, like around like the 40s, and some women when they're younger, but mostly around the 40ish mark is when you're going through a change of life. Your hormones are changing, your attitude is changing, and you're getting to that point in your life where things are supposed to start to make more sense to you. Things are supposed to become more clear. They often talk about that, right? When you get to a certain age, you're just like, I don't care anymore. And for me, it was the complete opposite. And I know that when I started to go through that experience, the change of life, that was really, really hard. And so there's that, right?
They don't tell us about how to deal with that either.
Exactly. And that's when I started to understand that like there was something missing, and I was going somewhere with that. So that part, my first instinct would be what? To reach out to my mom. Well, guess what? My mom wasn't here for me to reach out to. And there wasn't anyone in my family who had gone through the change of life naturally. Everyone had like, hysterectomies or whatever when they were younger. So it wasn't like a natural, I'm the only person. And I'm like, well, awesome. I literally have no one to talk to. And that is exactly how my healing journey felt. That nobody understood what I was saying, whether that's the truth or not. That's how I felt, and it's odd to me because it feels very similar, right? So I don't know where I was going on that tangent. I do apologize, but that's what happens when you give me the floor, folks.
Andrea says, I often think of my life as a tarot deck, major arcana and minor arcana. Nowadays, my question becomes, is this a major arcana moment or a minor arcana moment? And I think that's a valid point.
Absolutely.
There are days that feel monumental.
Yeah.
And other days when it's just another day. So I think that's a valid point. I think that after we get through the change, in my real turning point to where I started to figure out the difference between what's important and what's not was when my son was small, and we found out what was wrong with him and that he was never going to get better and all of that. So all of a sudden your priorities change, and I got a new perspective on, if it isn't clean or if it isn't dirty, don't clean it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I need that energy for something else.
Yes.
So if it's an unnecessary expenditure of energy, it becomes unnecessary in my life. And I think that the change of life does that too. It changes your perspective about what's really important.
Yes.
And there are things now that I just will not do just because it's
and also
a worthless expenditure of energy.
Yeah. And would you not agree that there's certain things that you would have reacted to
Mhm.
prior, and now you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And coming to the realization that I don't need to control everything,
Yeah.
that I can control myself and my actions, and that's my path. And what's your path? That's your path. And
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you how to walk it.
Yeah, that was very difficult for me. It and still is a challenge. I'm not gonna lie. That is one of my issues with my anxiety, is that I try to control situations, because that's what I always did. Now, when I say that's what I always did, it just happened that way. It wasn't something that I set out to do. Like, I'm a control freak. I'm gonna control everyone and everything around me. It just happened that way. That was my life experience up until a certain point. And when it wasn't, now nothing's in my control, and that was very difficult to navigate. And then, of course, you go to therapy and they tell you that you're a controlling human. That's not a great message. No one really wants
No.
that. And controlling, see, this is the thing. It's okay to control some things. Some things we need to feel like we have control over, and control with, and control for.
Mhm.
It's when it controls you to the point where you're fighting it that it becomes an issue for you.
Right.
But not everybody. Some people can do it and they're fine, and then others not so much. Right?
Well, and I think that that has a lot to do with where we're coming from too.
Yeah.
Um, what what your life experience is, and the more
Mhm.
life experience you have, the more you figure out. Hopefully, the more you figure out. The only thing that's really important and that matters is how we treat each other
Yes.
with love and kindness and compassion,
That's right.
and everything else is just trappings. It's
Yes,
just
100%. And I
uh,
totally agree with that. You know,
and
you were
it's
speaking
hard
about,
to sometimes it's hard to come to that place.
oh, it totally is.
It be, because of things we've been through or things we've had done to us,
Yes.
or whatever it is,
Yeah.
whatever kind of physical or emotional or mental things we're dealing with, or even spiritual things. I've met people who were so spiritually damaged they may never come back.
Right. That's very sad.
So Andrea says it helps me gauge how much energy I'm going to expend upon wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yeah, because that's wasted energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's if we are worried about something to the point that it causes us to have a physical reaction to
Yes.
it, then maybe that's a thing we don't need to be worried about.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying everything is going to be that. I mean,
Right.
there are some things we honestly need to have a reaction to, so it will make us take action.
Right.
But for the most part, if it's not directly affecting our life, the wailing and gnashing of teeth is not
Yeah.
a good response. It's an
I do. I do
overreaction.
want to say though, and I'm sitting here and I'm nodding my head in total agreement. I can say that now.
Well,
Now I
yes,
can say
but
that. But
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 we've
6 months
been
ago,
there. Yes,
6 months ago, no, that was not how it was at all.
I've
It was,
I've been a very reactionary person when I was younger.
yeah, it was very difficult.
So
With the anxiety, and again, I'm saying this, if anyone's listening now or will listen in the future to this video, that suffers from a mental illness, you're not always in control of your emotions because you haven't been taught how to identify why you're
exactly,
reacting to certain things in a certain way, right?
you don't know how to get back from it, and also to just let it go. It's okay to say, "Well, that happened,
Yeah,
and now it's time to do something else."
yeah,
So,
yeah, 100%. Wendy's comment, controlling is frustration, and absolutely is. in so many ways. That's a great statement, Wendy. You know, you guys remember what the patty stacker is? That was some crazy thing that they had on TV like back in the 80s or something, how you make hamburgers and freeze them, you know, homemade hamburgers. It was like this plastic contraption where you put the
Oh
meat
yeah,
in
I
through that
remember that.
plastic disc, and there was like a plunger action, and I often refer to myself as a patty stacker. I was never taught to process my emotions. I was taught by my mother, who I love dearly, to never let them see you sweat. She was a fiercely proud and independent woman. She was strong and she was courageous, and she was like the woman in a man's world, right? Like she was very good at business, but she was always like the only female in the room. And so her way to navigate that was to put on an armor of steel, right? Which
Right,
I totally respected. Unfortunately, it taught us to be little soldiers
right.
and not be able to express ourselves in a way that we should have been able to. And I don't know if it would have made this experience with her passing any easier or not. But I have to say that over my lifetime, I didn't really express my emotions over anything, if I was being honest. Because I always had that voice in the back of my head, right? Never let them see you sweat. And, you know, stand up tall, be, you know what I mean? Like it was all that was what we were taught. And so by natural progression without realizing it, right? I'm the oldest child. When I was 10, I was responsible for my sister, right? I would come home and I would make dinner. I mean, not like woe is me. I'm just saying like my controlling of the situation, of the narrative, of the story, of the things, whatever, was something that started when I was like wee little.
Right.
Right. And it never left me. Right. It just kept going. It filtered into my business. It filtered in like my career. Right. It filtered into my family responsibilities. It just continued and continued and continued. And then all of a sudden, with like the flip of a light switch, boom, I had zero control. And the part that messed me up, to Wendy's point, and I think this is really important for anyone who may have kinds of issues with this, I was told that I had control of said situation, but I was powerless.
Right.
And that is what tripped me up. That is what tripped me up. It wasn't that I didn't know how to do what I was supposed to do. It was that I basically was lied to. And that is what was very, very difficult for me to get past. And it literally took me 9 3/4 years. So
Andrea says it puts freedom to wail and gnash into awareness without judgment. All hour, all day, all month of wailing and healing or not. We
yep.
choose the energy we're going to expend and the timeline. And that is so true. Our culture has taught us what your mother taught you. It's taught us to be the little soldier, to put up a good face and tap dance as fast as we can.
Yes.
And make it look like we're doing okay.
Yes.
And I do think that there is a time for us to have that physical and emotional release.
Yes. You know, the saddest thing that anyone has ever said to me, the thing that like sort of cut me into little pieces, and it is so hard for me to think back on this moment. I had a cousin who committed suicide, and this was the first cousin. And I remember standing at the funeral home. You know, everyone's putting oxygen on my grandmother, and his mom is walking around with the garbage can in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle is laying on the floor in the fetal position. My aunt's passing out, like another aunt. And one of my cousins walked up to me and said, "You look like you work here." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Like, you have like no emotion whatsoever." Because I was taught not to.
Right.
I was taught that in a moment of crisis, that I am supposed to stifle that somewhere else and be there for other people because that's how I control that situation. But I never looked at it that way, right? That was not what I was doing. If you had asked me in that moment, I would have said, no, I'm just trying to look out for my family. Someone's got to be strong, right? That's how we put that different label on it. And so it was never considered controlling. It was considered being strong. And so
Right.
my household being strong meant that you were doing the right thing. And if you weren't, if you dared to crack, then you would let people see the real you, and that wasn't okay, because then they take advantage of you. It is so important to understand that it's okay, that a release is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean anything horrible is going to happen to you. And I'll be honest, the reason why I'm saying that is because I literally feared for the first 3 years after my mom died, and then we were dealing with the dying of our father. Well, he was terminal. I was afraid to open the floodgates. That was one of my biggest fears, because I had so much stuff that I had blocked up and held on to for so long. I literally felt if the floodgates opened up, I didn't know what I was going to do. I literally thought that if I open those up and let it go, I don't know what's going to happen to me, if I'll ever come back. And so that whole controlling sort of thing is very real. And if anyone here is experiencing it, please don't beat yourself up. It is a learned behavior in most of these cases. And we have to pick this stuff away, piece by piece by piece, and allow ourselves a healing in between those releases, right?
Right. Sherry says she's been accused of the same, excuse me, I can't talk, the same thing. When something hits me, it's like my emotions shut down momentarily until I can process it. Then the emotions come. Sometimes that takes years to release.
Yeah.
And Andrea said that what you're speaking about is classic hero child role.
Yeah.
And that, that we take on we give ourselves the responsibility of fixing the family.
It
That
literally was
if
my
something goes wrong in the family, it's our fault.
well, to that point, I was actually told that, and I was literally just going to say that. I remember I was married. Well, I wasn't married yet. I was living in sin. God help us. Friends, cover your ears. So I wasn't living at home anymore, obviously. My sister attempted to drive without a license, and my mom had just bought a new car, and she was away for the weekend. And my sister called me. She's like, "Oh my God, I locked mom's keys in the car, and the car is running, and I can't get in the house, and you need to come and help me." So I went over there, and I tried to, with the coat hanger, and scraped up all my mom's car.
Right.
My sister was 17 years old, and for years we kept that a secret. The day my sister got married, she was 28 years old. And the night before she got married is when we finally told my mom the truth. But I'll tell you, for those 10 years, it was my fault. And I got told about it all the time, how irresponsible I was. How could you do that? So it was like, I mean, I would be blamed for stuff, even though I was married. I didn't even live in the house anymore, and it was still my fault. So
The fear is if I
Yes.
start to cry and feel the pain, it will never stop.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Susan Beckett says, speaking from very recent personal grief experience, you need to do what you need to what you need to the way you need to.
Yes.
What should you care about? Why should you care about what others think or want you to do? And that is absolutely true. And that's a healthy way to deal with it.
And it's not, but it, unfortunately, I mean, I'm glad for you, Susan, and I'm grateful that you have that kind of insight. That unfortunately not everyone has that insight.
That's true. And
And
sometimes it's life experience that
yes,
that lets us give ourselves the permission
yes,
to deal with it.
Yeah.
The way we need to deal with it,
Yeah.
Not the way. And each of us is different. Each of us needs to deal with loss
hmm
in our own way. In this is just a quick personal experience. When my dad died, he wanted to be cremated, and so I put my foot down and I made the family do what he wanted. And he did not want a funeral, but he said, if you have to have one, this is what I want.
right,
So we went to the place where my dad's family is buried, a small little cemetery in southeastern Oklahoma, back in the hills, where the family has their gravesite. And um, my uncle dug the hole. It wasn't a very big circumference because we had just this box of cremated remains. And after the funeral, after the ceremony, and all of that, we walked down to the cemetery, and where my uncle had dug this little hole, and we put my dad's remains in there, and all of us filled it in.
hmm
And filling in that hole, it was like it filled in part of my heart.
Yep.
So that's what we needed to do that day. Now it's my turn.
All good.
That's what we needed to do that day. But it might have been different for someone else.
Yeah.
But that act of doing that for my dad and putting the dirt in the hole was like filling up the hole in our hearts.
That's right.
And so you have to do what you have to do. And you have to get enough life experience to know that it's okay, that whatever you have to do, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
And so I know it took you some years to get to that point.
Well, where I was just going to say, to the point that you just made, and to the point that Susan made, and I want Susan to understand. I think it's beautiful, and I'm grateful to anyone who understands what they need to do. I wasn't in a spot. I didn't, and that was part of the problem. I didn't know what I needed to do.
Right. It took you a while to get there.
Well, because I was told my whole life that I was supposed to react a particular way. And I was then told that a situation was going to go a particular way. That situation did not go the way that I was told it was supposed to go.
Right.
And the next thing that happened, that I assumed would go the way that it would go, because that's the natural order of things, that did not occur. And then I found myself standing there, and everyone is looking at me like, do something. And there was literally nothing I could do.
Well, no. And this time it was your turn.
Right.
It was your turn. And there wasn't somebody there to do what you usually did.
Yeah.
For you. Because you were the person that was, And now, so you're in a place where you're trying to be strong, but you're the one that's broken apart.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I want to share just the context of what I'm talking about. And this doesn't upset me. We have resolved it and worked on it. So most of you met my sister when she came to the channel, and we did Mom's 10-year passing anniversary, which was beautiful. I love my sister more than life itself. She is my heart. She's she is my blessing from God. Because I wanted a little sister and I got one. But we are like night and day, oil and water, salt and pepper, whatever you want to call us. We are the complete opposite people.
Right.
My mother had a doctor's meeting on Thursday morning. Not Thursday, on Friday morning, and my mother died on Monday. Mm-hmm. And on Friday morning, it was the first time that the doctor said there was nothing more that we could do. And we were trying to get my mom to come home because that's what she wanted. And that's why the doctor's meeting happened, because my mom asked us to do that. When that meeting was over, the doctor just said, like, you're dying and there's nothing more we can do. I had to leave the room. And just as I was walking out of the room, my mom looked at my sister and I said, well, I guess there's things that we need to talk about. And she said her husband knew what, and he was like, whatever. And I left the room. And 2 summers ago, when we were going through our court battle, well, the both of us are on the phone, tears, crying, the whole bit. And she said to me, well, you left the room. We would know what was happening, and we would have not been in this situation if you had not left that room. It was my fault that we didn't know what was going on because I left the room.
Because you were supposed to interpret it and tell everyone what to do.
Well, no, because I was the only adult there, because I'm the oldest, because that's my job, because that's my responsibility, because that's what Kelly always did. Kelly fixed everything. So anyway, a couple of months later, a lot of healing happened throughout that process, and we had a conversation one day. And again, through more tears, she said, I owe you an apology. I'm an adult and I could have asked Mom too. We had 2 years to ask our mother. And see, I never felt the need to ask my mom because my mother told me I was her executor. I had no reason to believe that I wasn't. And so there was no need for me to question her or ask her. I knew my mother like the back of my hand. I didn't question anything. I just assumed that it was going to go the way that I would assume that it was going to go, because my mother said it was going to go that way. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. And so it is very to me, like, if I go there, it doesn't make me angry anymore, but that whole idea of the controlling of a situation, it takes me to that specific moment in time. And I think about that often and think how grateful I am that my sister and I were in a place where we were able to have that conversation and those words were said to each other, because that was a lot of healing that happened.
And to work through that. That's and it's we put those things on ourselves. Our family puts them on us.
Yes.
And if we're not taught how to work through the emotions, yes. And no, I don't know of anybody in my generation that was taught to work through the emotions.
No,
I don't. It's
yeah, you didn't have time for it then, right? I mean, like, back to work. You know what I mean? Like, we all have responsibilities, right?
It's good now that younger people are being taught or at least some of them, are being taught. I think some of them are born knowing.
Perhaps, yeah.
The indigo children are born knowing. But in my generation, it just wasn't a thing. It wasn't important. There wasn't time for it. It was not what you do.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that. Like, get to work. We don't have time for this, right?
But then that leads us to where we are now, and
Yes.
we're what we had to go through to learn those lessons.
Yeah.
Well,
back in my day, it was like, suck it up, buttercup. I mean, honestly, that's what it was, right? Suck it up, buttercup. But we don't have time for this.
But those experiences are what make us who we are now.
Yes.
And so I can't say that that I would go back or change anything, because I wouldn't be who I am now without all of that other stuff.
No, I agree.
So I think they're valuable lessons. I think they're lessons, 100%. Though, that some of the young people these days don't have to experience, that they can, that they're either already born knowing or they're taught how to move past those things, how to work through them. Yes, I think a lot of us have, Swampy. It is hard to keep it in.
I have cried more this past year than I probably think I have in the past 10 years combined.
I know that I am more open in allowing my emotions out than I have ever been.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of it.
When we assume the hero role, there is power being hero in charge. I unconsciously chose hero in my family. This is what Andrea says. The problem is it bypasses involvement with higher power and connection. That is so true. I unconsciously chose that role in my family too. And Kelly's been saying that she chose that role in her family, or it was thrust on her. I think a lot of times I'm the oldest too. So I think a lot of times the oldest gets to be the hero, whether they want to or not.
They like it or not. You know what's really interesting? Thank you, Gina, for putting that up. Appreciate you. Right. Sorry, I sort of lost my train of thought and I got it back. I was like, don't come back. Every year on Mom's passing anniversary, we try to do something where we get a moment to share time together, right? My sister and I. And I think like either the first or the second year, I found a psychic local in my sister's area, and we went to the medium's house, and my sister went in first, and then she came out, and then I went in, and the lady asked me, well, she didn't like ask it as a real question, she kind of like said it as a statement, but it was sort of wrapped up in like this is odd, you know what I mean? So she literally just said, like, it's very, 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 very strange to me that you both lived in the same house, because you wouldn't know it. Your energies and your experiences seem vastly different. It's like you come from two separate families.
Oh, my brother and I are completely different. Completely different.
In that moment, I was like shocked. Like, I think about that statement quite often in retrospect and realize that was the rules that we were given, and that is why our experiences and our takeaway was so different. And if I think about the trajectory of how things went, that literally is exactly what we ended up doing. We walked away as if we lived in two separate families. And it's only probably in the last couple of years that we've started to fill that in to the point where it's supposed to be a shared experience instead of an individual experience.
Right.
It was very peculiar, but I don't feel it's uncommon.
It's
But
not. I
sister
have
was like,
much the
oh,
same thing in my own family.
yeah,
My brother has vastly different views about things. I think even though that we grew up in the same house, we were treated completely differently.
yes, yeah,
And it has something to do with gender, but it also has more to do with who was supposed to be responsible and who is supposed
yes,
to be taken care of, and
yep,
that kind of thing.
yeah,
Also, I think him being the baby and being a boy is he got to be the prince.
yes. Oh,
And
my sister was the
so
princess.
he's a little entitled.
Yeah,
And that and everything that goes along with that. So I think just being raised in the same household by the same parents
yeah,
does not make you turn out the same,
yeah,
because regardless of what parents say about how they love each child the same,
yeah.
and that is true, you love each child the same, but you don't treat them the same.
No, 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 no,
No.
no.
Hypnicity, Nalani says, I'm the baby. My siblings would judge me for being on a chat like this. Um, my brother would judge me for having a channel like this, if that's any consolation.
I will say that the one thing that I am grateful for, to that point, there are a lot of things that my sister and I, as I was saying, don't necessarily agree on.
Yes.
And when I told her that I was doing this, now that's going to make me cry. She just told me she was thrilled that I was happy, right? She could hear it in my voice. And when I asked her to join me on my channel, I didn't know she was going to do it. And I was so thrilled when she told me yes. Because I wanted to share that space with her.
Right.
I wanted to share that space with her. When you realize that, the thing that I think Andrea typed it in the chat way up earlier. We're all different, but we're the same. We're like-minded individuals, right? We're all good people. We all have good hearts, and we're not trying to, even though, we're not trying to change the world. I mean, even though we're not, you know what I mean? We're just trying to look after ourselves and each other to the best of our ability, to keep ourselves happy and positive. There is no blame or shame. That's a beautiful, powerful, amazing thing to do for another human being. And so I am so appreciative that my sister was supportive of that and continues to be.
Yes.
Hi, Colorful Foresight. Oh, look, I can't even see anymore, friends.
Colorful Foresight and Ron Unconditional Love have joined us. And Hypnicity is here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry I'm a mess.
Oh, no. And I'm sorry we got into a discussion that made both of us cry.
It's a good thing, friend. Listen, if I start blowing my nose, things may go south.
Do what you need to do.
All right.
I am going to ask if anyone would like a card today. If you'd like, or if you want to discuss a little bit more, or
whatever everybody wants us to do.
Yeah, just
a good time. Well, I said to Deb, "Oh, we're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be
great." Well, we can have a good time and still have tears.
We are having a good time.
We are.
We're sharing with each other, and that's sometimes the best thing, because when we walk away from this, I hope that everyone feels the love, because I feel it.
Yes.
And it also speaks volume to the safe space that you've created, Deb, and I thank you for that.
And here, I got you, Wendy. Okay, I got Wendy and I got Sherry. I've got Karen's got a Maryland question. Whoops, I missed her. There she is. Let me see. Let me go back to Sherry because I don't have her starred. So there we go. Bye, Anna.
Hi, Anna. Hey, Cardamancy. All right, let me take a drink.
Hi, Cardamancy. Oh, Hypnicity's 30th anniversary is on the Lionsgate portal on August the 8th. Hypnicity, I was married on August the 8th in 1981, and my ex-husband is no longer living. And this Lionsgate is kind of slapping me around a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of that old stuff that I thought I had stopped carrying around. But okay.
Well, don't beat yourself up for that.
No.
I'm gonna mute myself. I'm still listening. I'm just gonna shuffle up because I'm like a power shuffler. Everybody knows that I shuffle really loud, so I apologize. But I'm just gonna, or I don't have to mute myself. I don't want to ruin your flow because I'm a loud shuffler. I like the sound of the card shuffling. There's something about it I find very therapeutic.
I like to shuffle myself, and I don't mind the sound of it. Sherry, what have you got going on? I should have graduated in 1980, Mary. I didn't, but that would have been the year I graduated if I got my GED in 1996.
Did anybody see those two cards come flying out of my deck?
I did.
So this is the angel deck that I'm pulling from. I've got unexpected blessings. The angels are supporting you with gifts from above. I mean, they wanted to be seen, and we have patience. The angels are urging you to be more patient with yourself and others.
Sherry, what do you got going on, girl? I got Sylvia Plath, who symbolizes the dark. And she can also symbolize intensity and fury. Then I got the Violet Duchess, stifled, bored, and stuck. But lastly, I got the Stargazer, set your sights higher. So maybe it's because you're at work, but you're feeling a little bit stuck, and you need to look up, Sherry, because you're feeling like you're a little bit stuck and in the dark. You're not. Look up. Okay, let's see who we have next. Wendy. Wendy's next.
Wendy. What card should I give Wendy? I'm just shuffling all my cards here. I think this one for Wendy.
Sherry, do you feel stuck? I mean, did that resonate at all?
Wendy. Wow. Gotta love this. You've got Diamond, which is Radiance. It's card number 11.
Cool.
That's beautiful. So, you know, I don't want to be trite when I say this, but shine on, my friend. Shine on.
Oh, Sherry missed a reading. Sherry, I got that you're bored and that you need to look up, that you feel a little bit stuck.
Yeah. And I got 2 angel cards for you. One was that the angels are blessing you, and the other one was patience. They like literally like flung right out of the deck.
The patience, because you look up, girl, look up. That was the main card I got.
Yeah.
Wendy, did you go, Kelly?
Yes, I did, love. I only pulled 1 card. I can
You
pull
know,
more if you want me to.
my brain is just
Oh, stop.
sometimes not with me. I got the moon. Take note of intuitive messages.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the medicine guardian, to be open to healing information, but that you are the warrior. Be fearless and stand strong.
That's
So
it.
you have
into a warrior.
Mm-hmm. So you have what you need inside of you.
That's it. Well, that's what the radiance is, right?
Yes.
Let that radiate out of you. Shine on, my friend. Just shine. As I say often, and I say it, I don't mean it to be trite. I mean it because I believe it, and because I believe it to be the truth. Each of us has a light that needs to be seen. The world deserves to see it, and we deserve for the world to see it.
Absolutely.
So shine brightly.
So, yeah, I think those went along together well. Karen's got a question. Is Marilyn Monroe's diary in a safe in the Hyannisport compound?
It helps if you didn't have your...
I got no.
See, I used Nancy Jean's sheet that she gave me.
I don't. I just...
And so mine goes on the table. I'm just saying, I don't want anyone to think that I'm cheating, but it's on the table.
I believe you. I've seen you use it before.
That's how it's meant to be used when you use the sheet. All right, so where is it? The Hyannisport compound. Okay, is Marilyn Monroe's diary in a safe in the Hyannisport compound? I got a yes.
Did you?
It's not a strong yes, though.
It's at Hyannisport. It's at the compound, but it's not in the safe.
Oh, I didn't. I just said, is it in a safe at Hyannisport compound?
What did you get?
I got a yes. It wasn't a huge yes, but I got a yes.
Okay, I got it's at the compound, but it's not in a safe. And Kelly got it is in a safe. So,
we'll take 2 for Hyannisport compound.
And then, is there any way for you to check to find out?
Let me throw some deck of characters on that just real quick, just to see what it says.
You're welcome, Wendy. Say that again, Kelly.
I'm gonna throw my deck of character here and see what I get for that question.
Good thinking. Good thinking.
It's in a safe place. There you go, Hypnocity.
It's in a safe place.
Tell me about Marilyn Monroe's diary. Marilyn Monroe's diary.
It's in an office.
Just to see if it'll tell me anything else. I don't know.
Not
Huh?
I said not a desk. I said
Is Hyannisport, is that an airport?
Hyannisport is like it's in Maine, isn't it? Hyannisport, Maine.
But what is this?
Like a
What is
town,
the
like
Hyannisport compound?
like a town. The compound, is that the Kennedy compound, Karen? I think that's the Kennedy compound.
Because the first card that popped out is airplane.
Uh-huh.
All right.
The Kennedy place in Massachusetts, not Maine. Do you have to fly to get there? I mean, like, is it kind of in an island?
So I got the airplane. I got bed. Then I got breath. Then I've got tunnel. And then I've got the crystal. And so I feel like this is saying, like, it may be under something. Right?
That's where John Jr. was going
bed,
when it's playing.
Sort of buried in a tunnel. You know what I mean? The crystal that's in the ground, like maybe it's buried in something or underneath.
Right.
Something. Does that make sense? That's what I got. And the breath thing, I mean, you know, I could say don't hold your breath, but I don't think that that's what that means. I don't know what this part means. I have to ask this.
It's been taken care of by the family. Look at this. I got Leslie Marmon Silco, who represents community, and her keywords are taking care of each other, safety nets, and exile. So the family knows where it is. The Kennedy family, somebody in the Kennedy family, that this has been something that they've done, you know, like taken care of all these years. Guarded. They've been guarding it.
Hey, Gerald. Hey, Nancy Breaker.
Nancy.
All right. Who's up next?
Oh, good question.
Every once in a while. Woohoo.
Gina M is next.
Gina.
Oh, maybe she was just asking for thumbs up and not a card. Gina, do you want a card?
Let's give her a card. Why not?
Well, we're giving you whether you want one or not.
My conga coordinator.
Hi, Marcia. Marcia Green is here.
Hey, Marcia. It's in Cape Cod, Mass. All right. Remember, Canadian. I don't know where that is.
Andrea lived near. Nancy wants a card. There's a small airport there at Hyannisport.
Okay, interesting. Maybe that's why I got the plane. Maybe it's in the airplane hangar. Maybe it's in the plane. I mean, Elvis Presley did that, right?
Right.
Elvis Presley hid things in the walls of his bus, and right when he passed, they found all kinds of things in his bus.
Lots of people have done
that. Gina, this is what I've got for you. This is from the Self-Love Oracle. It's called Practice Acceptance. And I'll read the message here. It says, the heart wants to give and do it all, but everyone has limitations. Accept help when needed. Not everything is being asked of you. So in other words, allow people to assist when you need it, right? Practice that sort of Six of Pentacles, that giving and receiving thing, right?
Right.
It's a way to replenish yourself.
That's what I got. I got Mend a Broken Heart Fairy.
Beautiful.
That healing from heartache. And the way to do that is to retreat and recharge. So take care of yourself, Gina. So you might not have asked for a card, but obviously Spirit wanted you to know that you need to take some time for yourself. Right, it's part of the Kennedy information. So it's in the books and stuff about the Kennedys, about the what we were talking about before.
Right.
Andrea asked for a card for formation of spiritual family.
I'm trying to remember that, Andrea.
Andrea says we read on it in practice with Kelly from Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
I don't generally remember readings after I do them. They're gone.
Yeah. Doing well. Thank you, Marsha. And thank you, Swampy. Yes, please don't forget, you guys, give WH a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Do all that good stuff.
Marsha, I got your question.
And yes, Mary Thornberry says, yes, we all need a card. Thank you. Meaning to Andrea's point here.
Okay.
Yes, Wendy. For entertainment purposes only, YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, come on. Before you were performing, now nothing's happening. What's going on, Spirit? Let's go. Cards. We need cards. We want some flyers. Talk to us. There we go. 3 turned over. Wow. This is interesting. I love this. This is cool, you guys. Can I go? Do you mind?
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 cards.
Go ahead.
And this is basically everything that we've talked about in a nutshell. We've got decrease. So to me, that's like the cleansing, right? That's the releasing, the letting go, right?
Right.
We've got the great achievement, which is the healing process, the releasing, the letting go, the understanding, the developing your spirituality, the journey, right? It's the joy and the peace that you're bringing into your heart. That's the achievement, right? The happiness that you're bringing towards yourself and the release of the pain and the traumas and the hurts. And then we have present power.
Wow.
Because when we do all that, my friends, we are standing in our power and we are allowing ourselves to be seen, to be heard, to shine. Hey, Terry.
I got through 2 came out. Hi, Terry. 2 came out, and then I drew a third. But first thing that came out was the Air Guardian to shift perception. And then the She-Wolf, unleash the wild within. So if we shift our thinking and trust the Sky Father, to trust in the unknown and let what's inside of us come out. And that is how we build our family in a spiritual sense, our spiritual family, and that's how we recognize each other. And that was cool.
It was. Like it?
Yeah.
I
Okay. I have two more. I'm Nancy. Nancy Riker would like a card, and then Marcia, and
That was
then
knocking on my table. Sorry.
so
I don't know why I did the drum roll, but there you have it. Woo, drum roll for Nancy. I get a little silly sometimes, folks. What can I say? All right, Nancy Riker. Oh, okay. I got you, Andrew. Okay, 5 is too many. Narrow down, please.
Interesting.
What does Nancy need to know today? Thank you.
Nancy, I got the Lantern Fairy. That's a clear solution with Poe, which is time for change, to learn something new, to use technology and gadgets with wisdom. And then the Violet Angel, Breaking Dawn. So you are at the dawn of your clear solution, and it's got something new is coming, something for you to learn, and it's going to have something to do with gadgets.
Those chimes are mine, Marcia. Sorry, I'm expecting a delivery. That's my doorbell. So every time someone goes past the front of my house, my doorbell goes off. You know, because my house is like this far from the sidewalk. Apologize. Nancy, this is what I got for you. Had both of these come out, and they sort of piggyback off of what Deb is saying. So the first card is Eclipse in Cancer, which is acceptance, an emotional phase or domestic development. Following that, we have the Sun in Leo, right? Joy, a time of celebration and success. And I feel like the joy and the success is this emotional phase that you're working through, right? This I feel like it's like some sort of a level of understanding, right? So
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? What are the words, Kelly? Words. I feel like you have like a lesson has been learned, right? I feel like you're sort of at that point, if that makes sense. I know I didn't do a very good job explaining that, but I hope you know what I mean.
I thought it went along well. I think the both of our readings went together. So, Marcia Green, and after Marcia,
Marcia.
then you want Angel card, Marcia? Is that what? Yeah. And then it's we've been on here for an hour and a half, and I want to be mindful of Kelly's time. She's
listen. No, thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you. Listen, I am here until everybody is satisfied and happy. I'm good. So, Hypnocity wants a card.
Does she? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me put a handy dandy little thing.
Marcia said that she thought that from the chimes that she was hearing.
Oh, okay. Not an angel card. She thought the angels were coming. I get it. I'm a little slow sometimes.
You're not slow. You're perfect.
Well, then I'm going to go back with what I originally picked up for Marcia, because I felt like her message needed to come from this deck. Oh, yeah, your message definitely needed to come from this deck.
Wow, holy. Okay, sorry, but that's just too cool. So the first card I got was Oak Tree Ancestors. Okay, then I moved to a totally different deck and I got Spirit Ascended Masters. Which is, I mean, this card is just so cool. Look at the image on there. It's just beautiful, right?
It is.
You go, Deb. I want to pull another card because I feel like I'm not done with this thing here yet.
Go ahead.
Something else needs to be said. That's beautiful. The Ascended Masters and your ancestors. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's powerful. All right. You can't make this crap up. Look at that. Look at that. The Tree of Wishes is calling your name. An almost forgotten wish will now come true. So, I mean, this is two separate decks. Look.
Yes. Wait until you see what I got.
Right.
But
hopefully, okay. You get so, Marcia. I want you to talk to spirit, talk to your ancestors, right? Your spirit guides, your spirit teams. Just tune in and say hello. And I want you to go out if you can, find a tree and put your hand on the bark and just allow yourself to soak up some of that power. I think that's something that you should do over the next couple of days. There's something there for you to do. There's some kind of power that you need to get from that. That's what I think. What you got, Deb?
So the first thing that I got was a celebration. Beautiful. The Three of Cups, Maiden Mother Crone. But what goes with this celebration, remember what Kelly said, the ancestors, the guides, the masters. Okay, here is the Sword of Justice and the Death card. But look at this Death card. Look at that tree.
Wow.
So the transformation is coming because all of these things are coming to pass because of your renewed connection with the ancestors, with the things that have happened before, with the wishes, transforming into that something new, the new thing that's coming, because you are listening and hearing. And so all you have to do to get to that celebration part is put it into action.
I sort of feel like, because you said this, Marcia, you said that you're not feeling good, that you're sick. The oak tree, that strength, it's the roots are your ancestors, right? You're going to get power from the bark of the tree. You're going to ground yourself. Tap into that wisdom, right? From your ancestors. Tap into that. And, like the death card, because the Ace of Swords is an aha moment. It is a spiritual experience. It's clarity. It's a new understanding, right?
Exactly.
And then you have the death card.
The death card,
right? It's the rebirth card. It's something new, as Deb said, right? This is new.
It always has a sun coming up in the background.
Absolutely. So you're. I think it's a sign that you're getting. You're going to start to feel better. And I think that it's a sign that they're there. So I don't know if you've been saying your prayers or not, but I feel like they heard you.
They are right there with you.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful.
She says a tree again. Awesome, Kelly. I have big trees in my backyard that I have been sick, and I need to take your advice. So I hope you feel better.
Reclaim your power, my friend.
Yes.
Reclaim your power. Look at that.
Yes.
See the woman standing there holding her hands up high?
Mhm.
Right? Do not give your power away to anyone. Say to yourself, I am strong and I am capable. I can approach any situation with confidence and skill.
See, and the trees know. She says, what's so funny? My trees are so big and they sway when I am outside.
Bye, Wendy.
Bye, Wendy.
Have a good weekend.
So you're getting the messages, Marcia. Just act on them.
Yep.
They are right there with you, and they are encouraging you to step into your power.
You're so sweet.
All right, here's our last is Hypnicity, whose name is Nalani, if that helps.
Yes, I know who Milani. She is, you know what? So sweet, and I love her name. It
Yes,
just
me too.
Never.
Beautiful name. Hypnicity is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
That's very encouraging, Swampy.
Absolutely. She's like, oh no, they know me here. It's kind of like, it's like Cheers, when Norm would walk in the bar and everybody would be like, Norm.
Yeah.
When you come into these chats and either the person on the screen or other people in the chat say hello to you, it's sort of like that feeling,
It is.
Very homey feeling, and it just, I don't know, it just always puts a smile on my face.
I'm going to go ahead and go if you don't mind, Kelly.
Yeah.
First, I got Mary Shelley, who represents loss, but she also represents attachment. Okay. And so I'm feeling like, because the next card I got was the apple, which is the senses and hunger. So I'm feeling like it's attachment to something. And then the last card I got was Anais Nin, the subconscious. And she represents the unexplored. So hypnicity, I think that you've got an attachment to something that you maybe need to let go of a little bit and explore something new.
Yep.
And look for synchronicities. Synchronicities and synergies. I think you already do that, though.
I pulled two cards for you. So we've got Sun in Virgo here. Okay. And this is Endeavor. Now on the top of the card, it says you reap what you sow. And I feel like this card means, the result that you want, you're going to get based on the amount of work that you put into it, right? So if you try a lot, you're going to get a great result. And if you're just kind of like, oh, I can't be bothered today, you're probably not going to get that profound of a result, right? I think this is interesting because this is this. Are you? Wow, that's cool. The second card that I got was the Earth, the home. So now I'm going to put these two cards out. So look, we've got the sun and the moon, right? We've got working the earth in both of these cards, right? I feel like, I mean, I know what you're trying to do, so I don't want to pretend like I don't know what you're trying to do in terms of your co-op that you're trying to create. So I know that you're about working the earth, and I know that you love the earth and the planet. And I'm telling you to go out there and love it up a little bit some more right now. I feel like there's some kind of like, what you said something about acceptance, right?
Attachment.
Attachment, that's it. Thank you. I think that's what your attachment is. Your attachment is the earth, working the earth, being part of the earth, feeling the earth. And I feel kind of like that's lackluster because, of course, you already know that. But I feel like you're supposed to do something with that. I feel like I need another card. I have had a button since high school that says I'm here to save the planet. There you go. All right, bear with me.
Well, of course you have. You wouldn't have hypnicity for your screen identity if. Oh, she's a quad cancer. Lots of water.
All right, I've got you can handle this.
Mm.
Okay. There is a wise saying, you are never given more than you can handle. Tune into your heart to reconnect with your strength. All right, there you go. That is why you need to go home. That's why you need to go out to the earth, work the earth, because for whatever reason, are you feeling slightly defeated right now or a little off kilter or a little out of balance? Maybe things aren't working out the way that you would hope. Go outside. Go outside go to your happy place. That's where you're going to get your sort of resurgence and your rejuvenation from. That's what we need to do with another card.
Yeah, and give it a little bit different perspective. You know what? Working the land always gives you what you need.
Yeah. I'm
It's
sorry, Hypnicity.
so I hope you feel better, Hypnicity. And that
Okay, can we
will
do this real quick? Do you mind? I don't mean to hijack your whole
no,
program,
go
but
ahead.
Hypnicity, send me. Okay, how about this? On my chain, I don't remember where it is. I did a visualization one time. Visualizations are so great to sort of transport you from whatever state you're in to another kind of state. I'm going to send you an email because I have your email, and I'll give you the link where that is if you want. Where I gave like a sample visualization, just in hopes that it might transport you to a better place, even if it's just for a few minutes. You let me know if that's okay to do that. Sorry, Deb, I didn't mean to totally talk over you. I apologize.
No, go ahead. I wanted to just enclose. Whoops, that's not the one. That is. There it is. Andrea has said to Marcia, imagine your backbone as a tree sending roots down to mingle with the tree roots, and let the roots grow down through the soles of your feet and mingle with the tree. That's something similar to what I do in visualizations. And I think that would be really helpful, Marcia, for you to connect. And I know that I'm a hope. I hope that Hypnicity. I hope you feel better, and you and Kelly connect and maybe get that visualization going. I'm
Absolutely.
we've been here nearly 2 hours, so I'm going to go ahead
Woo.
and say that we love you. You're always welcome here. And I think that this was a great show, Kelly. I had fun.
Oh, thank you, love.
Remind us again, you have your regular channel and
Yes.
you have the circle of friends.
Yep.
And what else you got going on in the near future?
In the very near future, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Thayer and Hero Stash will join me for some mediumship and card readings.
Very cool. And your birthday is coming up,
My
and you've
birthday
got
is
a
next
couple of
week.
shows surrounding that. So
Yes, ma'am. They're all up on my page, and you know.
cool, cool. And I'll be back on Tuesday with Cardamancy Mesquite. And until then, beautiful beings.
Blessings, everybody. Mwah.